Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're taking a closer look at motorcycle safety,
Oh, yeah.
all thanks to this article we found. 10 essential motorcycle safety tips every rider must know.
I like it.
Published just recently on December 2nd, 2024.
Hmm.
And you know what? Even if you're not a biker yourself, stick around.
Oh, absolutely.
Because understanding how people stay safe and high-risk stuff like riding a motorcycle,
Right.
it actually teaches you a lot about managing risk anywhere,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Awareness and all that.
Absolutely. Motorcycle safety, it's kind of a puzzle.
Hmm.
It's not just about how well you ride.
Right.
You've got the bike itself, the roads, other drivers,
Yeah.
even what's going on in the rider's head.
Oh, interesting.
All these pieces matter.
Yeah, the article really hammers home the gear thing.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's not just chucking on a jacket, right?
Oh.
They say helmets alone cut fatal head injuries by 37%.
Wow.
Pretty convincing, huh?
That's huge. So you know what's cool about helmets? It's not just padding. They're designed all fancy to spread out the force of an impact.
Oh, I see.
And they protect those really delicate parts of your head.
Yeah.
And get this, there are different types too.
Okay.
Full face for the most protection, modular ones with a shield that flips up,
Oh, right.
and those open face ones that let more air in, but, less coverage on your face.
Right.
What helmet's best for you depends on what kind of riding you do.
Yeah.
So going to a shop to get fitted properly is a must, they say.
Like a whole world of gear out there, huh?
Totally.
They also talk about doing checks before every ride.
Oh, yeah.
Tires, brakes, lights.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like when a pilot does that pre-flight thing.
Makes sense.
Isn't that a bit much for just a motorcycle?
Not at all. See, checking your bike every time.
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding breakdowns. It's more than that.
Okay.
It's about getting to know your machine. You become really tuned into it.
Oh,
And that helps you spot potential problems before they even happen on the road.
I see, yeah.
Being that vigilant, it can really make a difference when it comes to staying safe.
So you're almost building this relationship with your bike.
Yeah,
Like it's a part of you.
exactly.
Speaking of awareness, the article says obey traffic laws. Like it's a big deal.
Yep.
Seems kind of obvious, doesn't it? Or do motorcycle riders have this like rebellious streak?
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up.
Yeah.
Motorcycles, they do give you this sense of freedom,
Yeah.
this agility that cars don't.
True.
So, yeah, maybe some riders are tempted to push the boundaries a bit.
I guess.
But breaking traffic laws can have big consequences,
Mm.
especially because motorcycles are so much more vulnerable than cars.
Makes sense, yeah.
You just don't have that same level of protection.
And speaking of vulnerability, the article drops this scary stat. A lot of accidents happen just because drivers don't see the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
How can riders make themselves more, noticeable?
The article, it suggests two main things.
Yeah.
Bright clothing and smart lane positioning.
Gotcha.
Wearing bright colors makes you stand out to other drivers.
Right, yeah.
And when it comes to lane position, it's all about choosing the spot that gives you the most visibility
Okay.
and minimizes those blind spots for other vehicles.
I see.
So like riding a little to the left or right of the center,
Mm-hmm.
that can make you more visible to cars coming up from behind.
That's a good tip.
You're basically taking control of your own safety out there.
Right, yeah.
Be proactive,
I like that, yeah.
not just reacting to what happens.
The article also talks about riding within your skill level.
Oh, yeah,
Seems like that's a pretty universal idea, right?
absolutely. It's true for so many things, just like any skill.
Yeah.
If you push yourself too far too fast,
Yeah.
it can backfire big time.
Totally.
The article suggests, and I think this is smart,
Yeah.
starting small, gradually making your rides more challenging.
Oh, that makes sense.
You build up your skills and your confidence bit by bit, so you're not suddenly in over your head.
Right.
And this idea of always learning, always improving, that's key to becoming a safer rider.
Yeah. I love that perspective.
It's a journey, not a destination.
All right, let's talk distractions.
Oh, yeah.
We all know we shouldn't be on our phones while driving a car.
Of course.
But on a motorcycle, that's got to be next level risky, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What makes it so much more dangerous on a bike?
You're right on the money with that one.
Yeah.
See, on a motorcycle, the stakes are way higher
Mm-hmm.
because even a little distraction can have huge consequences.
Yeah.
You're not surrounded by all that metal like in a car.
Right.
So any lapse in concentration
Yeah.
could lead to a crash.
Yeah, that's scary.
The article really stresses how important it is to be super aware when you're riding
Yeah.
and to minimize anything that takes your focus off the road.
So imagine this. You're cruising down the road, wind in your hair,
Yeah.
and suddenly the car in front slams on its brakes.
Hmm,
Doesn't seem like you'd have much time to react.
not much at all.
What can riders do to, like, anticipate these situations?
That's where the 2-second rule comes in.
Okay.
It's all about keeping a safe following distance.
Right.
The article says this rule is even more crucial for motorcycles
Really?
because they're smaller and more vulnerable.
I see.
You got to make sure you have enough time to react if the car in front does something sudden.
So how does this 2-second rule actually work on a motorcycle?
Okay,
Do you just count the seconds between you and the car ahead?
you do, but it's a little trickier than just counting.
Okay.
Pick something that's not moving on the side of the road,
Oh,
like a sign or a tree.
got it.
When the car in front passes that thing, start counting 1001, 1002.
Mm-hmm.
If you reach that same spot before you finish counting, you're following too close.
Oh, got
So
it.
adjust your speed, give yourself more space.
I see, yeah.
This gives you more time to react if they slam on the brakes. And it helps you avoid tailgating, which is especially bad for motorcyclists.
Makes sense.
You don't want to be right up on someone's bumper.
No, definitely not.
It feels like motorcycle riding just demands a higher level of defensive driving.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is there, like, it's a specific way motorcyclists should approach that?
Yeah.
The article uses this idea of anticipating hazards
Okay.
to show what makes defensive driving different for motorcyclists.
Interesting.
Because the risks are higher.
Right.
Defensive riding on a motorcycle, it almost becomes an art form.
Wow.
You're always scanning for potential problems,
Mhm.
thinking steps ahead,
Okay.
and trying to predict what other drivers are going to do.
Almost like you need a sixth sense out there.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah?
It's about developing this super awareness,
Mm-hmm.
a sharp eye for detail,
Yeah.
and just being constantly alert.
Wow. That's intense.
I was also impressed that the article even covers riding in different kinds of weather.
Oh, yeah.
Rain, wind, fog.
Right.
It's like a survival guide for motorcyclists. How do you even begin to ride safely in those conditions?
Huh.
It goes back to that idea of knowing your machine.
Right.
You got to understand how your motorcycle acts in different weather.
Yeah.
Like rain makes the road slippery and you need more distance to stop.
Makes sense.
So you have to adjust how you ride.
Gotcha.
Wind can push you around, especially when you're going fast.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you got to be ready to countersteer to stay balanced.
Oh, okay.
And in fog, you can't see well. You
Right.
got to slow down and be extra cautious.
Like your whole riding style has to change.
It does.
Now, I gotta admit, the part about practicing emergency maneuvers makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Is that something every rider should be doing?
It is?
Or is it just for, like, experienced riders who are pushing their limits?
It's not about being a stunt rider or doing anything crazy.
Okay.
Practicing emergency maneuvers, it's a valuable skill for anyone who rides, no matter their experience level.
But wouldn't that be kind of dangerous?
Well, think of it this way. It's about building up that muscle memory
Hmm.
for those moments when you have to react instantly.
Right.
Like, imagine fire drills.
Yeah.
You practice so that when a real fire happens, you don't panic.
Right, right. Hmm.
Same idea here.
So it's about being confident that you can handle unexpected situations.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you practice things like emergency braking and swerving
Okay.
in a safe, controlled environment,
Yeah.
you'll be better prepared to react instinctively and correctly if you ever need to do it for real.
Like, your body just knows what to do.
That's it.
That's pretty cool.
It's about giving yourself the skills to handle anything the road throws at you.
That's a good way to put it.
You're not just along for the ride.
No.
You're in control.
Yeah, I like that.
You're prepared.
That's a great way to think about it.
You're ready for whatever comes your way. You're not just reacting. You're being proactive.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's about being in control and prepared.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive. From the gear and the mechanics of the motorcycle itself to the mental side of riding safely.
Yeah, the psychology of it all.
It's fascinating how many different aspects there are to motorcycle safety.
It really is. It shows that safe riding, it's not just one thing.
Right.
It's a whole bunch of things working together.
Yeah, it's the rider, the machine, the environment.
It's the whole picture.
And it feels like this article is really just scratching the surface.
Oh, yeah. Definitely just a starting point.
There's so much more to learn about staying safe on a motorcycle.
Absolutely.
And
It's a deep well of knowledge,
so much to explore.
for sure.
What do you think is the biggest takeaway from our conversation today?
You know, for me, it's that focus on continuous learning.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough to just know how to ride a motorcycle.
Right.
You got to keep refining your judgment your awareness,
Yeah.
how you assess risk.
It's like you're never really done learning.
Exactly. It's not a one-time thing.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of getting better.
Always improving.
That's the key.
Yeah, and that goes beyond just motorcycling, doesn't it?
It does. We're all constantly learning, navigating this crazy thing called life.
Yeah. Figuring it out as we go.
And making smart choices to stay safe, that's a big part of it.
I totally agree. No matter how much you know, there's always room to grow.
Absolutely. And there's always something new to learn.
And to be better.
You got it.
While the article really focuses on the rider themselves,
Right.
I think true safety, it's a group effort.
Oh, 100%.
What do you mean by that?
Motorcycle safety, it's not just the rider's job.
Okay.
Everyone on the road needs to be aware of motorcycles and respectful of them.
It's like a shared responsibility.
That's it. We're all in this together.
We got to create a safer environment for everybody.
Absolutely. And that means drivers need to be more careful,
Okay.
checking their blind spots and giving riders plenty of space. And riders need to ride defensively.
Right.
Be predictable so other drivers know what they're doing.
It's a two-way street. So much of what we've talked about today goes beyond just avoiding accidents.
Right.
It's about being able to really enjoy riding.
You got it. When you feel confident,
Yeah.
when you're aware of what's around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're prepared for anything that might happen,
Right.
that's when you can relax and just enjoy the ride.
Feel that freedom.
Exactly. And that freedom, it comes from knowing you're in control.
Yeah. Not from taking unnecessary risks.
Not at all.
It's about respecting your limits.
Absolutely.
Respecting the bike, respecting the road.
And respecting yourself.
We've really dug deep into all the layers of motorcycle safety today.
We have.
What final thoughts would you like to leave our listeners with?
I'd encourage everyone, whether you ride a motorcycle or not,
Yeah.
to think about how important continuous learning is
Okay.
and shared responsibility when it comes to safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about following the rules.
Right.
It's about creating this culture of awareness,
Yeah.
respect,
Mm-hmm.
and making smart choices.
Being proactive.
Yeah.
Those are some powerful words to wrap up with.
Thank you.
I really like that idea that safety isn't just about avoiding bad things.
Right.
It's also about making the good things even better.
Making the experience richer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about finding that sweet spot between risk and reward.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing yourself, but not too far.
Right.
And always trying to become more skilled and responsible.
I think we've successfully navigated this winding road of motorcycle safety knowledge.
I think so too. We've covered a lot of ground.
Lots of twists and turns.
But we made it.
And hopefully our listeners feel ready to keep exploring on their own.
That's the goal, to inspire further learning.
If there's one thing I hope you all take away from this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's this. Safety, it's not just a set of rules.
It's bigger than that.
It's a mindset.
It's a way of thinking,
It's about making choices,
being aware,
always learning,
and adapting
and having a lot of respect for the risks and rewards.
of whatever you're doing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Remember, this conversation doesn't end here.
Keep it going.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep sharing what you learn.
The more we all understand about safety,
Yeah.
the more we can all enjoy life to the fullest.
And on that note,
Yes.
I'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
What are your thoughts?
What really resonated with you from today's deep dive?
What challenges have you faced?
When it comes to staying safe on a motorcycle,
Or in any part of your life?
share your stories, share your experiences.
Let's keep this conversation going together.
You know, it's pretty amazing how a deep dive into something like motorcycle safety,
Right.
which seems pretty straightforward at first,
You'd think so.
can actually be so complex.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot to unpack.
So many different angles.
Layers upon layers.
And it just shows you how connected safety really is.
Absolutely.
Whether you're on a motorcycle
Yeah.
or even just walking down the
Not
street,
connected.
our choices affect not only ourselves,
Right.
but everyone around us.
It's like a ripple effect, you know?
Yeah, it's like our individual decisions.
Yeah.
They all contribute to this overall culture of safety,
Exactly.
or a lack of safety, I guess.
And the more we understand those connections,
Yeah.
the better we can all work together to create a safer environment.
Well, we've gone from the nitty-gritty of gear and motorcycles
The technical stuff.
to the bigger picture of risk and responsibility.
And how we learn and grow.
What a journey.
It's been quite a ride.
And if you're feeling inspired to learn even more about motorcycle safety,
Yeah, if you want to dive deeper into specific areas,
don't hesitate to reach out.
we'd love to hear from you.
We love hearing your thoughts and questions and experiences.
It keeps us going.
Who knows? Maybe your curiosity will spark the next deep dive.
That'd be awesome.
Until then, ride safe out there.
Stay curious.
Then never stop learning.
Never stop exploring.
And remember, knowledge is power.
Especially when it comes to staying safe on the open road.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.